last time around, I mentioned I wasn't done. A few people didn't quite get it. They said, well, you've reviewed the entire anime. I suppose that's true. I guess I did finish off the anime.
I mean, there's a new GTO manga that was released a couple of months ago, but it's not even finished. And what is done probably isn't even translated yet. It's all just way too new to bother. But that's not what I was talking about.
No GTO review is complete without the live action. Yeah, I know it's pirated, but it never came out here.
Now, rarely does an anime or manga ever make it to a full-fledged live-action show, and rarely is said show ever good. But after the train wreck that the anime turned out to be, there's no way GTO live-action can be worse. Right?
Just like the anime, the live-action show kind of just devolves into a Monster of the Week type of schedule where each episode focuses on either a small group of students or one particular student and their neuroses, and basically what Onizuka does to help them.
One big improvement right off the bat is that Nanako actually sticks around after the bra and panties trick and becomes a full-fledged main character. She doesn't just fade away like in the anime, but continues to assist Onizuka in his attempts to turn the rest of his class, along with her two bland male cohorts who look like the pizza delivery guy from the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and a girl. Like the anime, Onizuka is given the problem class of the school, but this time we're given a quick scroll over of each problem student. It's pretty easy to pick out who's who by their actions.
It was during the scroll over that I began to realize how much of a pretty big difference lay between the anime and the live action. For instance, I'll compare some characters for you. Let me start with Kikuchi. In the anime, he's a bespectacled, nasal-voiced geek. Meanwhile, in the live-action show, he's a good-looking part-time model who moonlights as a hacker and basically manipulates everyone around him. Mirai is a flat-top bully, in the anime, of course. In the live-action show, he's a Latino-looking skinhead. Miyabi in the anime is a girl who desperately needs to get laid. In the live-action show, she probably couldn't get laid even if she tried. And then there's Kanzaki. She goes from the anime where she has just, she's some girl with heterochromia to nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Yeah, they removed her. And her. And them. There's a lot of shit they took out of the live-action GTO. Maybe it was hard to find a blonde Japanese actress with heterochromia, sure, but the main reason is that the live-action is 13 episodes long. Yeah, remember in the anime when Onizuka wins Mirai over half during the first season? That's pretty much how far the GTO live-action follows the plot before sinking it to its own shitty finale. Of course, for a while, the live-action does follow along with the anime, albeit rather loosely. There's the episode with the kinky photos of Onizuka that turn out to be doctored by Kikuchi, complete with Onizuka requesting that he put Fuyutsuki's face on the shots of porn actresses. One thing to note is that it's here that we get our first good look at Onizuka's pad. It's way more kick-ass than the spot at the school. There's a lot of subtleties hanging around the set you don't really see until your second time through, like the dual lightsabers above his door. Man, so cool. Noboru's episode follows pretty much the same course as well. After the events of episode 2, Onizuka rushes to catch a falling mannequin, destroying Uchimata's cresta yet again. Well, this time it's a Benz, but fuck, look at the dent! How did either of them just walk away from that? And Uchimata's not happy either, holy shit! His head looks like it's gonna fucking explode! The actor they got to play Uchimata seems to do rage pretty well. In fact, it's the only thing he seems to do at all. I don't think there's ever a point in the live action where Uchimata's not a grumpy old fart, which makes it all the more surprising when he pulls a complete 180 and completely redeems himself at the end of the series. They do introduce a few new elements though, like Mr. Fujitomi, a teacher suffering from severe depression who only attends work periodically due to his condition. First time we see him, he's being gang raped by the entire teacher's lounge, who basically call him a pussy for not manning up and coming to work. What the fuck? This has to be the most petty, immature group of adults I've ever seen in my life. How many people would actually go to a guy diagnosed with chronic depression and tell him, "Oh, just ignore it, you wimp"? What a bunch of cocks! Of course, Fujitomi's inaction is equally maddening. Onizuka's expression here is basically my own. And it's here that we find out that Onizuka is a huge dick. Like, on the level of Superman. He's that bad. Sure, he wants to prove to a group of half-ass bullies that the shit they're dabbling in has a pretty awful end usually. But did he have to hang an already psychologically traumatized kid off the top of a building to prove his point? And of course, Onizuka's just like, "Hey man, just get a hold of yourself afterward." What a fucking douche! Probably the worst part of this whole scene is how contrived Uchiyamada's entrance is. He's seen here eating lunch with his family at a pleasant seaside cafe when all of a sudden Miyabi's purse falls into their food. But earlier we've seen that the place directly below Miyabi was an industrial area with several highways. Nothing like the idyllic scene of the cafe from earlier. So what the fuck? To top it off, Uchiyamada has to run into the scene right below where Miyabi happens to be, making it impossible for her to have dropped the purse. What a piece of shit! Even the fucking extras can't believe how bullshit this show is. The Noboru arc ends with Miyabi roping Onizuka into apologizing at an assembly in front of the entire student body. In order to save Onizuka's skin, Noboru finally mans up and whoa, hold the fucking phone!
I mean, I know it's supposed to be brave and dramatic, and he's showing everyone his bruised and battered body as proof, but Christ, I'm not interested in seeing little boys striptease.
In retaliation for Onizuka's victory concerning Noboru, Miyabi stages a massive strike. Only the students that Onizuka's won over thus far are attending his class. To make things worse, Onizuka is going to be fired if he can't get all students to return in time for the fall semester. It's nearing summer break. But as Onizuka has already had his pay slashed as part of the reprimand and is more worried about finding a summer job part-time to try to pay the bills instead of bringing his students back. It's here that we're introduced to the Tomoko character, who has changed from being a dumb hot chick with huge boobs to a dumb, overly cute and childish chick who, while is without the sex appeal, is still endearing in her own way.
I assume they made this change because there's no such thing as a big-breasted Asian woman. What? You don't believe me? Look at their fucking bras! It's like 5 sizes before our version of an A-cup.
Tomoko is given the same ploy as Miyabi as in the anime, and she fucks it up the same way. In fact, Tomoko's whole arc is completely by the book. She's persuaded by Onizuka to enter into an idol contest, she wins over the judges by being herself, becomes a big hit, and Onizuka pulls himself out of debt by reaping the profits. They added one really humorous scene to this whole bit that makes it far superior to the anime version, when Onizuka first tries to promote Nanako as an idol rather than Tomoko. Fuck, look at their faces! Even the normally stoic Kikuchi is stunned. And Noboru looks like he kind of likes it. What the hell? Tomoko returns later in the series to announce that she's been accepted at a big-time acting school, but is unsure of herself. This is where we really get to see how much of a gigantic cunt Miss Kotani really is. She teaches the Japanese equivalent of her home economics, but it seems like she's pulled straight out of the 1950s. Who the fuck actually still runs a class that teaches girls to be good wives and mothers? Naturally, because Tomoko's big break requires her to drop out of school and focus on a career rather than just breathing her life away, Ms. Kotani offers enough resistance against Onizuka to actually put up a challenge. It's here that the live action has its first big difference with the anime, and it's actually a pretty good one. Teshigawara's stint as a footlicker is replaced with him being a huge stalker. This is alluded to in the anime, but it's not really built on like it is in the live action. This episode contains probably the best extended fight scene between Onizuka and Fuyutsuki. It's well written, well acted, and despite being a single take, over 10 minutes long, it's still really well done. There's some great moments, like Fuyutsuki's reaction and Onizuka admitting he's a virgin. Holy shit, she looks like Onizuka told her he's contracted the Black Plague or something. Hey Fuyutsuki, I contracted the virus from Resident Evil.
Stars.
So, Teshi gets Fuyutsuki to head back to his place with him, drugs her, and prepares to have his way with her when Onizuka arrives on the scene. For no reason. Sure, Onizuka says he's come for computer help, but it's obvious he knows from the start that Fuyutsuki's there.
How did Onizuka know she was there?
I mean, he's seen earlier breaking into all the teachers' desks with Nanako and the gang, but the only thing he finds in Teshigawa's desk is a photo book full of snapshots of Fuyutsuki, which shouldn't even raise too much suspicion anyway, because Fuyutsuki has told Onizuka several times over the course of the episode that they're dating. Sure, they're not actually dating, but Onizuka didn't know that. So how the fuck did he figure it out? Was it just a lucky fucking guess that not only Fuyutsuki's in trouble, but that she's at Teshigawa's? So as Onizuka busts a few packets of fake blood in his palm, he decides to lay out the moral of the episode, as if it's not obvious enough. Real men court women, not stalk, drug, and rape them. But then he turns around and blames Fuyutsuki for the whole thing, saying she shouldn't lead guys on. Now, this might be a little politically incorrect, but I can kind of see what Onizuka's saying here. What do women expect when they lead on emotionally unstable men for their own purposes, only to turn around and dump them in a river when it's convenient? Sure, women have the right to do it, but men also have the right to tell them to fuck right off. I'm not trying to side with Teshi here. Teshi's a tremendous retard, and watching him hit rock bottom in the aftermath is satisfying as all hell. But this whole situation just seems like Fuyutsuki's crime because she decided to throw a rock at a chimpanzee, and then the chimpanzee ripped her fucking face off. Now we get to Mirai, and things are again different. Sure, Onizuka still constantly tries to get into Mirai's mom's pants, but this time Mirai mentions his massive problem stem from his father having been a biker who died when he was young, as well as the tragedy surrounding his high school friend, who was only accepted to a good school due to his baseball scholarship, but due to an injury in a game was unable to play. The school booted him out, and he was driven to a life of crime due to have nowhere else to turn, blah, 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 blah.
See, this is the thing. Despite it being a pretty tragic story, I really find it hard to give two shits about this show. I mean, it has shoddy writing, the acting is god-awful, and GTO has this tendency to lecture the fucking plot to us.
Seriously, watch this. See? He's fucking telling us about the incident. Would it have hurt to whip up a flashback? Could you not afford to hire a goddamn guest actor or something? What the fuck? I know that some of the later episodes tackle a lot of problems that run rampant among Japan today, like underage teenage prostitution, corruption, and teacher neglect. But it becomes damn hard to actually care when it's 90% poorly done exposition. So Onizuka tackles Mirai differently this time around. Mirai's known for being a star athlete in the live action, and the gym teacher, sharing Onizuka's passion for openness with his students, attempts to get to know Mirai by challenging him to, oh my god! Did we really need to see those guys in Speedos? For fuck's sakes! First, we've got Noboru stripping in front of the school, and then the underage Mirai and the ugliest fuck, Hakamada, wearing almost nothing. It's like this show has an obsession with making unattractive dudes strip. Ugh, banana hammocks. Mirai kicks his ass, obviously, and has a couple of random bitches waiting on him to make his victory that much more epic. Onizuka decides to get through Mirai differently, by challenging him to a game of chicken. Somehow, Onizuka talks Mirai's mom into driving her huge fucking truck directly to the two of them. I guess she's not so concerned for her son's or Onizuka's safety or anything. And it turns out she should be, because Onizuka gets his foot caught in a hole, can't run out of the way in time, and Mirai's mom wipes out. Really? Look at that. He's not stuck. He's not even trying to act stuck. Onizuka's constant fluctuation between a giant loser and coolest guy ever is never more apparent than right here. Like, 1 minute he's stuck in the lamest, most contrived way ever, and not 5 seconds later, he's tearing the door off a truck like the manliest motherfucker alive. Hakamada fucks up, though, and undoes all the progress Onizuka's made with Mirai by beating the shit out of him right in front of the office. what the fuck? How does Hakamada keep his job or avoid being charged for assault? Then there's the episode involving Miyabi's two peons. They decide to whore themselves out in order to get cash. Only not really, because while the guy showers up, they plan to take his money and run. Onizuka solves this in the predictably GTO way of hiring one of the girls for a night and talking them out of it. The side plot is actually much more satisfying, and it involves one of the girl's fathers and how he deals with corruption in the workplace. He's a textbook salesman, and in order to be able to sell textbooks to his own daughter's school, he has to offer the vice president laundered money and prostitutes and shit. Hell, look at the way he is when he's with the girl anyway. I don't think I've ever seen somebody so desperate to fuck a girl that they turn beet red and begin to sweat buckets. Chikako's dad is understandably a pussy. He's got to provide for his family, and it means being corrupt to do it. You can tell it pains him just to be there, but I do think GTO takes it a little too far. I mean, Christ, he's so much of a coward, he's bowing at the fucking phone. The dude can't even see who he's talking to, and he's still bowing. Onizuka saves the day here, too. He burns all the school books bought by the school, as well as all the dirty money. I mean, I guess it's the right thing to do, but will the school be getting their money back? How does Onizuka avoid getting fired? And hell, after the truth comes out, how does the vice principal avoid getting fired? Worst of all, why does it suddenly become a money-burning fest? I mean, okay, Chikako wants to give back the money she stole from Onizuka during her fake prostitute stint, but Onizuka's just like, nah, burn it instead. The real killer is that it's not even Onizuka's money. He borrowed it from his buddy Sajima at the beginning of the episode. Can you imagine Onizuka explaining this? Yo, Onizuka, why'd you borrow that $100 anyway? I just wanted money to burn. And then everybody just starts burning all sorts of unrelated money. Are you fucking retarded?